And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. As the dog days of summer are behind us and the cooler days of fall ahead of us, we look to the Fall Classic. And I know you've said less sports, Charlie, more politics and business, but I just can't help it to mention just a couple of things about America's pastime. Justin Verlander hurling his third no-hitter last week, joining a pantheon of famous pitchers to so do, including a guy named Cy Young. What distinguished Verlander was the fact that it was the first time that a pitcher had hurled no-hitters on the road in the same ballpark. Toronto must love to see him coming by. Anyway, he was joined after the game by his #1 fan and beloved spouse, supermodel Kate Upton, whose uncle, Fred, is a member of Congress representing the 6th District of Michigan. So there's a little political twist for you. And Fred Upton has told me that he has never gotten so much attention as since his niece Kate, to whom he's very close, took the stage. The heir to the Whirlpool fortune didn't really matter so much as young Kate. And yesterday, the day before we filmed this, another interesting little bit of baseball history and trivia. Michael Lorenzen of the Cincinnati Reds did something that hadn't been done in nearly a century. He homered, won the game as a pitcher, and played a position in the field against, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies. The first time since Babe Ruth had accomplished that feat. Whenever you're mentioned in the same breath as Babe Ruth, you've done something pretty significant. And another little trivia tidbit for you. Babe Ruth used to stick a cabbage leaf under his cap to keep him cool during the game. Who says that we aren't a treasure trove of absolutely worthless information? So hopefully this next bit is a little bit more helpful, and that is a look forward to the next Democratic debate. The stage is now narrowing. They're only going to have 10 or 11 candidates on the stage instead of trying to go 2 nights with all 24, 25, or 35, or however the heck many there are these days. But what is going to be particularly noteworthy is the absence of any true centrists, unless you want to lump Joe Biden still into the moderate middle, and I don't think you really can with how far left he's trying to trot when he can determine where exactly he is. You're not going to have Ryan, you're not going to have Delaney, you're not going to have Bullock, you're not going to have Bennett. Instead, you're going to have the folks who are the real contenders for the Democratic nomination right now, because bluntly, if you're not on that main stage at this point, you're probably not going to be the nominee. Your candidacy has been reduced to a vanity campaign, much like Comrade de Blasio, or interestingly, Tom Steyer, who's burning up $350,000 per day on television buys and still can't get to the magic number, which is very, very low, to get onto the debate stage. We saw a preview of coming attractions in the so-called climate change town hall. And bluntly, therein is the exposure of the Democrats' soft underbelly. Every one of their candidates running as far to the left as they possibly can to get close to Jay Inslee, the governor of Washington, who's now out of the race for some reason because he was the big climate change guy, with proposals like carbon taxes. You know, there was a carbon tax initiative in deep blue Washington state on the ballot in 2016 when Hillary was running. It lost. In 2018, the great sea change election for the Democrats, it lost again. That's in deep blue Washington. Think about how that would do in swing state Pennsylvania, or a state the Democrats think they some point have a shot at, Texas. Ponder that for a moment. But to go beyond that, they're talking about eliminating airplane travel. They're talking about Bernie Sanders being honest enough to admit gigantic tax increases and an increased war on fossil fuels, most notably eliminating fracking and halting or eliminating the production of coal. Think about how that plays out in some of the Northeast states where they think they've got a shot at retaining or regaining or rebuilding that blue wall they talked about 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago, whatever it is these days. Anyway, that stage is going to tilt very, very far to the left. The American people are going to have an opportunity to look at that, and my guess is they really aren't going to like what they have to see. Meanwhile, the economy ticks up, and ultimately, people do vote their pocketbooks. It ticks up on the apparent thawing of the trade war with China, indication that they're going to meet sometime in October. They may or may not get to a deal, but even if they get to a micro deal, the market is likely to spike up dramatically. Went up 400 points on the news that they were even going to talk. Good news for 401ks, good news for the middle class, and ultimately, good news for the incumbent. President Trump has to be happy about the direction of the economy. So please, like, share, subscribe so that others can enjoy the best 60-ish seconds of your week, because for now, that's the best of yours.